जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दना जय व्रजजनरञ्जना जय जमुनधिरवनचारी जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्ज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद की और प्रेमानंदे Hare Krishna. Welcome to today evening's presentation. which is titled Krishna Conscious Grihastha Ashram. Okay, so before we get into we can have the first slide.
Just do this.
Yeah, thank you. So before we get into the presentation, we chant auspicious invocation prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mahyam Dadadi Sapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिवत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् स्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यं नमामि तम् हरे कृष्णा सो किसी को अंग्रेजी मालूम नहीं है? Everybody understands English. Okay. Anyway, we'll try to mix a little bit of English and Hindi, like what we did yesterday. Okay, so this course is titled Krishna Conscious Grihastha Ashram, and it is exclusively based on Prabhupada's teachings. We do this as a seminar, me and my wife, we do this as a seminar in Mayapur during Gaur Purnima time. And also we do it as a seminar outside. Generally we both do it together because there's just the nature of the content is just such that one person doing it doesn't work. So it's like a 4-day seminar and every day 6 hours. So it's like a full-fledged 24-hour seminar. So what I'm going to tell you is more like a slight overview of what we discussed so that at least you go back with some idea of what we do or what is this all about. Okay. So what is the aim of this course? The aim of this course is nicely explained in the shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam. Human society all over the world is divided in 4 castes and 4 orders of life, and each and every one of the above mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atapumbirduja varnashrama vibhagashah swanishthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshna. So me and my wife were discussing what to title this seminar as. That different options, that householder life in devotion in householder life, Grihastha Ashram and Krishna consciousness. So like that we were discussing about different titles, and then my wife quoted this shloka. She said, hey, this shloka is there, you should think about this shloka, and then we should title it as Krishna conscious Grihastha Ashram. Because without Krishna consciousness, whatever ashram you are in, doesn't make any sense. You can be best grahastha, you can be best sannyasi, you can be best brahmachari, or you can be best brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, whatever it is. But if you are not Krishna conscious, nothing makes sense. In Bhagavatam, there's a discussion between Vyasadeva and Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. He told very clearly that What is the use of being expert in doing the worldly duties if a person is not a devotee? And what is the use, what is the loss if a person is not so expert in doing worldly duties, but if he is a devotee? So, therefore, the first thing is to be Krishna conscious. That's what we were saying yesterday. Yesterday's topic was about that we should be Krishna conscious, we should be God conscious. Otherwise, there is no use of human life. The difference between human life and animal life is simply God consciousness. Animals cannot have Shastra class, like, we cannot call cats and dogs, okay, Jimmy, you sit here, Tommy, you sit here, and then let's talk about Isha Upanishad. It's not possible. They cannot understand Shastra. So the only difference between human life and animal life is that the animals cannot understand Shastra, human beings can understand Shastra. So therefore, first of all, we have to be Krishna conscious. Then we can situate ourselves in whatever social position which is comfortable for us. Like for somebody being a brahmachari is comfortable, he can be brahmachari. For most of us in Kali Yuga, being Grihastha is comfortable because Kali Yuga is like that we don't have so much training to control our senses and that and this, there's enough of problems. So for most of us, being in Grihastha life or being in household life, being in married life is good for us. So therefore, uh, the very purpose of married life is to be Krishna conscious. So Krishna consciousness comes first, Grihastha Ashram comes next. To be very clear, not that other way around. You are a householder first, then you are a devotee next. You are a devotee first, then you are a householder next. So that's what it says. Uh, so Bhagavatam also says, Dharma sunishtita pumsam vishwakshena katasuyaha na utpadayet yadiratim shramaye vahi kevalam. So if you are doing your own swadharma, whatever you are, your student, your householder, your husband, wife, whatever it is, you are doing your duty, and the duty is not helping you to get attracted to Krishna consciousness, get attracted to Bhagavatam, get attracted to Bhagavad Gita, that duty is useless. It's just simply waste of time. He said that Srama eva hi kevalam, simply waste of time. Why? Because such duty will not give you any benefit. So therefore, this is the first thing. The aim of this course is actually to see how to use the householder life to remain Krishna conscious. It's not that the other way around. How to use devotee life to become a good householder. How to use householder life to become Krishna conscious. So that's the aim. Then whenever you fly in a plane, before the plane starts, what the air hostess does, she comes and announces that this is the way you put your seat belt. In the case of unlikely landing on water, then you put on your life jacket, you jump to the nearest exit. So they give you some safety warning. Okay. So that's what you are going to hear next. Safety warning. Okay. So this course is not aimed at criticizing or finding fault with or belittling any individual. Okay, this course is not for that. We are not sitting on like a throne or cloud nine and then finding fault with everybody. Okay, this course is not for that. It's simply to share what Prabhupada is saying, what is the expectation of Prabhupada from his followers who are householders. Okay. In the process, we may find many things that we may require moderation in our own life. It's all up to you what you want to do, what you don't want to do. It's not for us to get preachy, or it's not for us to say that we are great, you are not so great. It's a journey in which all of us are trying to learn what Prabhupada wants from his householders. The purpose of this course is to educate everyone about the essentials of Grihastha Ashram and Krishna consciousness as described by the Supreme Lord and our founder Acharya in his purports and lectures. So there are many books, many psychologists, many people who cover this topic of husband and wife, man and woman. There are many people who are covering this topic. When we are doing this seminar in Russia, then one person asked me, why don't we read this book that, what is that, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Something like that, one book is there. I have not read that book, but I heard that it's a very famous book. So one person asked me that why don't we read this book, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So I asked him back, By reading men are from Mars and women are from Venus, can you go to Golok Vrindavan? He said, no. I said, that's why we don't read this book. Our aim defines our method. Very simple. We have a certain aim. That aim defines our method. Our aim is to go to Vaikuntha. So if you want to go to Vaikuntha, you listen to Vaikuntha man. Like if you want to play baseball, you listen to baseball coach, right? Or in India, people play cricket. Here they play baseball. Yet nobody plays cricket. Here they play. That's why I say baseball. If I'm in India, I'll say cricket. Okay. So anyway, whatever game you want to play, you just listen to the person who knows how to play the game, right? So then you learn that how to play the game, what to do, how to leave the ball, how to hit the ball, how to run from one post to another post, whatever it is, you learn everything. So like that, if you want to go to Vaikuntha, we have to learn from Vaikuntha man. We cannot learn from some person who is just making some research on how man is, how woman is. So it's all useless for us. So what is useful for us is to learn from Vaikuntha man, because whatever Vaikuntha man says, it will take us to Vaikuntha. So therefore, this course is exclusively based on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada's teachings. Okay. This course focuses not on our past, but on present and future as householders in Grihastha life. Because we all lived, and we all live a certain life. We cannot go back and change anything. Like Prabhupada says that it's good for a man to be married between 20 and 24, a woman to get married between 16 to 19, right? So now, when I got married, I was 27. Can I go back and change it? I cannot change it, right? It's not possible. So past, is gone, right? But what we have is our present and we have our future. So we can do with it. Our present is our own life, our future is our children. So this is what we have. We have our present, we have our future. In our own life, whatever adjustment we can make at this point of time, we can make it. With our children, we can teach them that, see, this is what is good for you. Then it is up to them. What they will do, what they will not do is up to them. We cannot force them to do what they have to do. But we can definitely tell them that this is right, this is wrong. This is what Prabhupada is saying. You try to live like this, and if they're interested, they will live. If they're not interested, they will find their own way. So the point is that, so therefore, the course is not so much about what we miss to do. The course is more about what we can do. The course should be viewed from that perspective. Whatever we did not do is fine. Sometimes people ask that, oh, you're telling like this, we all did. Okay, there's a whole generation you're training, not only our children. There's a whole generation we are training. We can always tell that generation that this is the right thing to do. And in the process, if you're honest, if you say, okay, why you didn't do, okay, I made a mistake, nobody told me. But now there's an opportunity for you to hear. So if you're honest in our presentation, and if you try to be their well-wishers and present it to future generation, they may take it up as they like it. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is all the overview of the course. So the course itself has basically few sections. This is the first section, which is mostly dealing with the husband and wife, and this is the major section. So it has principles of Krishna conscious marriage, understanding husband and wife relationships, understanding how to handle misunderstandings, what are the small things which you look into a relationship which makes a big difference for you, discussion about divorce, discussion about different types of marriage, and then the conclusion. Of course, we are not going to do everything today. We are just going to do the first part, which is principles of Krishna conscious married life, and that also in a very, very brief way. Then the second part is Krishna conscious parenting. So this is the third part is the samskaras, and the last part is vanaprastha, which is introduction to vanaprastha, and then conclusion, sharing, feedback. So this is more or less the total content of the course, which takes about 24 hours to complete. But of course, we are going to do it in half an hour, and we are going to do only few things. So, what is the first principle? The first principle is this: Yasadeve parabhaktir yata deve tatha guru tasyahi katitahat prakashante mahatmanaha. The real import of scriptures is revealed unto one who has unflinching faith both in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master. So, this is the first principle of Grihastha life. This is the first principle of human life itself. Human life starts when you have faith in Shastra. And when we have faith in Prabhupada, who is explaining us the Shastra, because that's the way we understand Shastra. He is the Acharya who is explaining us that this is true, this is right, this is wrong, this is how it is there. So we actually learn the entire science of Krishna consciousness from Prabhupada. So having faith in the Lord Krishna for us also means having faith in Prabhupada. We cannot separate both. We cannot say, oh, I have faith in God, I cannot, but Prabhupada is okay, little bit here and there. Chalta hai. We cannot say like that because we understand Krishna through Prabhupada. Prabhupada knows Krishna, we don't know Krishna. He knows Krishna, we don't know Krishna. So our understanding of Krishna comes from him. So therefore, it is very important. This is the first principle. The principle, see, somewhere you have to pose your faith. So where you are going to pose your faith, that's the question. So the answer to that is that you need to pose your faith in Prabhupada. So then you are anchored. You know, okay, if I want to know what is right and what is wrong, then I just open Prabhupada's book, I read, I understand what is right and what is wrong. Then according to my ability, according to my intelligence, according to what I can and what is my circumstance, then I try to do my best. We may not be able to do everything what is the most ideal thing at every time, but we can always try to do our best. But at least we can have a clear idea of what is right and what is wrong, because that is the only difference between divine life and demoniac life as per Krishna. In Krishna, in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he gives a single difference between divine mentality and demoniac mentality. What is the difference? The difference is only one thing. A person who has divine consciousness, he tries to understand what is right and what is wrong as per the words of the Acharya, as per the Shastra. A person who has demoniac consciousness, he simply speculates about what is right and what is wrong and does whatever he wants. So that takes us to the next sloka, which is part of the first principle. Nideha madhyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam mayyanukulyena nabasvasiritam puman bhavabdir natarit satmaha. This human body, which can award all benefits of life, is automatically attained by law of nature. Nobody plans to get a human body. Did you plan? Did you plan, Prabhuji? आपने प्लान किया हमको ह्यूमन बॉडी मिलेगा, आपने प्लान किया? No. Everybody gets human body automatically. Sulabham, that's why Sulabham. Although it is very rare achievement, that is Sudurlabham. Sudurlabham. The human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat. It's like a boat. Having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as the favorable wind. So when you accept a spiritual master, when you accept him as a captain, and then when he gives direction, okay, you use your body like this, you do your life like this, then, and according to Shastra, when you try to live, considering these advantages, a human being who does not utilize this human life to cross over the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. Atmaha. Atmaha means killer of the own soul. So therefore, the human body is a very rare, it's a very rare opportunity. It should be used properly. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells one story. It's a nice story. So in near Mayapur, there's Ganga. Ganga is flowing, big river. Most of you know Ganga, right? It's a big river, it's flowing. Okay, then there, transport by boat is very common. Everybody goes by boat. So there's a place called Shantipur near Mayapur. There was a marriage party which was going from Mayapur to Shantipur. They all got into the boat and they haggled with the boatman. They settled the price, and then the boatman said, okay, you all peacefully sleep. I will row the boat. Today night we will travel the Ganga. Tomorrow morning you will be in Shantipur. So he started rowing the boat. The breeze was very cool. The night was very, very beautiful, and everybody slept peacefully. And the next day morning, they got up, and bam, they're still there in Mayapur. And the boatman is still rowing. So there's a big fight between the people in the boat and the boatman, that why you didn't take us. And the boatman is saying, no, I was rowing. You can see, I'm rowing till now. But somehow the boat is not moving. What can I do? It's not my fault. And then they found what? The rope is all there and the anchor is not removed. So what is the anchor? The anchor is the attachment to this material world. But who is the boatman? This is the most interesting part. Who is the boatman? Yeah, boatman is guru, but in this case, who is the boatman? Somebody has taken the position of the guru. Who is the boatman? The boatman is the mind. The boatman is the mind. If you don't accept a proper acharya, you will accept your mind as guru. And the function of mind is to keep the jiva tied to the body. That is the function of the mind. The function of the mind is exclusively to keep the soul in the material world. Very nicely, Rishabhadeva explains, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yat indriya pritaya pranoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam asannata viklesa asadeha. That the mind simply directs a person to work for gratification of this body, bodily pleasure, and mental pleasure. It simply directs a person to work for this bodily pleasure and mental pleasure. And in the process, a person becomes mad. He doesn't understand that he is not an animal, he is a human being. He has to think beyond the body. He doesn't understand this. He doesn't have time. From morning to evening, he is simply running to maintain his body. So then where is the time? There's no time. So then he simply becomes bound by from one body to another body. He does not know that he is actually a spirit soul. Yathatmanoyam. So therefore, it is said, na sadhu manye. Listening to mind is not very good business. Bhagavatam says very clearly that listening to mind is not very good business. So, therefore, the first principle is that one should have faith in Prabhupada and the Supreme Lord. Now, how to develop that faith? How to develop that faith? What is the practical method to develop that faith in Prabhupada and Supreme Lord? What is the practical method? Huh? Yeah, you should read Prabhupada books. There are so many books displayed there. It's not for just display, it's for you to buy and read. You should read Prabhupada books and you should try to practice what Prabhupada is saying. And when you read Prabhupada books and when you try to practice what Prabhupada is saying, you'll actually find that Krishna consciousness is a science, it works. So then you can develop that faith. One by one, you can develop that faith. Slowly. So that's the basic thing. To actually associate with people who have that faith, to read Prabhupada books, because reading also is association. Reading and hear Prabhupada's lectures, that what he has to say. And then to try to practice what Prabhupada is saying, then we can develop that faith. So that's the first principle, to have faith in Prabhupada. That the faith should not be selective. It's not be like many times people, devotees say that, oh, I have faith in Prabhupada. But then, do you have faith in everything which Prabhupada says? That's where the problem comes. They say, oh, this is okay, but this is not so much okay. So they cherry pick of what they want to accept and what they don't want to accept. Cherry picking may be good for picking cherries, but it is not good for accepting Acharya. So the point is that we may find it difficult to implement certain things in our life, but we should at least accept that it is correct. And accept that, okay, I am finding it difficult to implement in my life, but this is correct. This is where we start. This is where the faith, the real faith starts here. Not that, okay, this part of what the Acharya is saying is practical and it is relevant, and this part of what Acharya is saying is impractical and irrelevant. It's not like that. Many times devotees themselves tend to think like this. Devotees who practice Krishna consciousness for a long time, they also tend to think like this. Oh, this is okay. This is doable. This is like now the world has become very modern, so it is irrelevant. Now they say this is irrelevant because world has become very modern. World may become very modern, doesn't matter, but still we have to go to Vaikuntha. So because that's something which we should always remember. World can become modern, world can become old, world can become young, world can become anything. But our relationship with this world is limited. Uh, so therefore, we need to work in such a way that we remember our goal, that we are trying to go to Vaikuntha. So therefore, it's very important to have faith in Prabhupada. So, so we come to the next principle, which actually deals with, because there's a man, there's a woman. In marriage, they come together, right? So how to see each other in marriage is a very important thing. How to look at each other in marriage. What is their respective duties in marriage? When a man comes, when a man and woman come with each other, like generally, uh, at least, you know, I don't know how it works here. Um, to most extent in India, till now, pre-marriage sex between man and woman is not so common. Um, so marriage is sometimes seen as the opportunity to have nice time with the opposite sex. Okay, now you are married, you have a wife, you have a husband, now you can enjoy with each other. Okay, of course, enjoyment is there in marriage. It's not that it's not there. Okay, it is there. It is part of marriage. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, "Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava." So I am that enjoyment between man and woman or husband and wife, which is not against Shastra. Krishna himself says, "I am the pleasure of that enjoyment." So that is always there. But what is the main purpose of a man and woman coming in marriage? That's explained in this particular portion. It is said that a man who is situated in household life and who systematically conquers his mind and five sense organs is like a king in his fortress who conquers his powerful enemies. Anyone who has been tried in household life and his lusty desires have decreased can move around anywhere without danger. This is a passage which appears in 5th canto when Brahma is trying to convince a prince called Priyavrata to get married. So he is a son of Swayambhuva Manu, the original father of the entire mankind. So he is his son, and he was not willing to get married. He was a brahmachari. So Brahma goes and he talks to him and is trying to convince him to get married. So there, Prabhupada writes this. So from this passage, we understand a man and woman, they come in marriage uh, not to push each other into Maya, but to actually save each other from Maya. This is the purpose of a man and woman coming inside marriage. Means that a Krishna conscious marriage is a method by which a man can save himself from falling victim of Maya, and a woman can save herself from falling victim to Maya. So they are there to save each other. They form the fortress for each other. That's there. That is a fortress to conquer his powerful enemies. What are the powerful enemies? The powerful enemies are kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya. These are the powerful enemies. That lust, anger, greed. So all these six things, they are the powerful enemies which is actually pushing us away from Krishna. These things, these six things are pushing us away from Krishna. Lust is pushing us away from Krishna. Anger is pushing us away from Krishna. Greed is pushing us away from Krishna. Greed is telling us, okay, you make a lot of money, you float in money, then you can go to God. Now the time is now to actually make a lot of money and float in money. This is the time, this is the age, this is the situation. Do it. Then when you are very old, when you cannot make any more money, when your body is simply finished, that time you can think of God. Now don't think of God, my dear. Mind is telling. So lust, anger, greed, and illusion. and pride. So all these things are actually taking us away from Krishna. A man and woman enter into married life to fight together, not to become victim of lust, not to become victim of anger, not to become victim of greed, not to become victim of these six enemies which actually take us away from Krishna. Rather to work together to protect each other, to protect each other. And then they can actually become that fortress which can decrease the lusty desires and which can decrease the danger when they move about in this material world. That they go, they see, okay, householder sees another householder, he sees, oh, he is living so opulently, I am not living so opulently, my car is a little small, his car is very big. Then when he comes back, then his wife tells, okay, don't worry, small car, big car, doesn't matter. As long as you're chanting Hare Krishna, we are all right. Okay. Then life is good. Or if wife is saying, no, what useless man you are. My neighbor is having such a big car. Uh, my father already told you get married to a coconut tree instead of getting married to this man, at least you'll get coconut. You didn't listen to me. You got married to this guy. Now you're not even getting coconut. So then what will happen? Then simply they will fuel each other's greed, and they will not have time for Krishna. So the moment it comes like this, then they'll say, oh, we don't have time, we have to do so many things, we have to do this, we have to do that. So therefore the Grihastha life is actually meant for um, the husband and wife are meant to save each other from Maya, not to push each other into Maya. This is the first principle. The second principle of Krishna conscious married life. So the wife is dependent on the husband, and if the husband is Vaishnava, then naturally she shares the devotional service of the husband because she renders service to him. This reciprocation of service and love between husband and wife is the ideal householder life. This is the second principle. It's there in the passage itself. That the, the, the household life is simply meant for reciprocation of service and love. This is what household life is meant for. On the basis of Krishna consciousness, not on the basis of anything else. On the basis of Krishna consciousness, the husband and wife are meant to reciprocate love and service to each other. Uh, the husband takes care of wife and makes sure that she is able to practice her Krishna consciousness nicely. The wife takes care of husband and she makes sure that the husband is able to practice Krishna consciousness nicely. And this is what the household life is all about. That's what we are meant to do to each other. In the process, of course, we earn some money, we try to get some facilities as much as Krishna gives. Uh, but the primary function of husband and wife is that they are able to serve each other. They are able to serve each other in a manner that they are able to help each other to grow and flourish in Krishna consciousness. That's very important. Sometimes we have seen that husband and wife, they are very keen to preach to so many people and they do so much nice preaching, but in the process the husband is not taking care of the wife. He has never asked her that have you chanted your rounds, are you all right, do you need any help, are you all right, are you able to practice your Krishna consciousness nicely. Or the wife has never asked the husband, because many times husband and wife talk, they simply talk many worldly things, because these things have to be talked between husband and wife, that how much money is there in the bank, what to spend, what not to spend, and who is coming, who is going, who is getting married, who has died, who is living, who is sick. These things have to be spoken between husband and wife. It's natural because Grihastha life involves all these things. But as much as we speak these things, we should also speak about that how is your Krishna consciousness? Do you need some help? Are you able to do things properly? Same, the enquiry should be both ways between husband and wife. So they care for each other, they show some love to each other, and then they are able to flourish in Krishna consciousness. So the relationship between the husband and wife is firmly established when the wife is faithful and the husband is sincere. Even if the wife, being weaker, is unable to execute devotional service with her husband, if she is chaste and sincere, she shares half her husband's activities. So this is the next principle, that the wife has the privilege of getting 50% of what the husband does. It doesn't work the other way. Shastra doesn't give 50% credit of what the wife does to the husband. Whatever the husband does, the wife gets 50% credit. बैठे बैठे मिल जाता है, but बैठे बैठे नहीं, because the wife also has to work to assist the husband to do whatever he has to do. But the point is that therefore, according to Shastra, the primary duty of a woman is to serve her husband. Because when she serves her devotee husband, then naturally she gets the benefit of practicing devotional service. So that's her primary duty, that she does it nicely. That doesn't mean that she doesn't accept spiritual master, she doesn't chant her rounds, she doesn't take initiation. All these things have to be done. She accepts spiritual master, she chants her rounds, she follows four great principles, all these things she does. But her primary duty in Krishna consciousness is also to serve her husband and to make sure that the husband is able to execute his vows in Krishna consciousness. And when such a relationship is established between husband and wife, then the relationship is very beneficial. So we go to the next principle. Anyone who is a householder rather than a brahmachari, a sannyasi or vanaprastha, should not endeavor very hard for religiosity, economic development, or satisfaction of senses. Even in householder life, one should be satisfied to maintain the body and soul together with whatever is available with minimum endeavor, and according to time and place by the grace of the Lord, one should not engage himself in ugra karma. So this is the next principle. Now, the husband and wife came together. So the first principle is that they both have faith in the Lord and the Acharya. Now they came together with the understanding that they should save each other from Maya. Right? And then they are serving each other. Okay. Now, as the life progresses, then the general tendency is to accumulate and expand. So this is what happens with householder life. Bhagavatam says, Pumsaskriya Maitini Bhavametam Tayor Mito Hriday Granti Mahuhu Atta Grihakshetra Sutapta Vittair Janasya Mohayam Aham Ameti. A man and woman get attracted. Pumsaskriya Maitini Bhavametam. There is a natural attraction between man and woman. They get attracted to each other. And then that attraction causes a knot in the heart. Tayor Mito Hriday Granti. Hriday Granti means knot in the heart. It causes a knot in the heart. And that knot expands as Ata Griha Kshetra Suta Apta Vittair. Griha means house, Kshetra means land, Suta means children, Apta means relatives, Vittair means so many other things you have in household life. So it simply expands. And then one gets caught in this web of Aham and Mameti, I and mine. So therefore, it is very important to understand that we should maintain simple living, high thinking. Householder life means we should maintain simple living and high thinking. We should be happy with what comes on its own accord. That is the most important thing. That whatever comes by Krishna's mercy on its own accord without having to too much endeavor, we should be happy. Now, many times when we discuss this, people ask that what is the limit, or how do we determine what is too much and what is not too much? People ask this question, that how do we determine this? How do we practically determine what is too much and what is not too much? The practical answer to this is that you simply follow for the first two shlokas of Nectar of Instruction. So that limits what is too much and what is not too much. The first shloka says that Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, Udaropastha Vegam, Yetan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhiraha, Sarvam Apimam Prativim Sashishya. One should learn to control one urges. You go to shopping mall, there are hundreds of things. The temptation is to pick up something. That's why the shopping mall is there. So that it can give you so many options that you go to buy something and then you buy so many things, other things which you are not meant to buy, because it's already there and you just see and there is a sale and it's very attractive offer. So that you simply buy it. So because it's just there. or you tend to buy because everybody else is buying, or you tend to buy because you have to maintain a certain status. Yeah, these are all different things why get caught into so much of uh, so much of over endeavor. So therefore, so nectar of instruction says that don't fall victim to urges. Don't fall victim to urges. If you have to do something, be focused what you have to do and get out of that place. That's it. As simple as that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that don't plan activities which will simply hamper your Krishna consciousness. First of all, you have to be Krishna conscious. Then rest of the things will come. So don't hamper, don't fill your day with so much activities that you can't actually do what is your Krishna conscious activity. That's what it says. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. These are activities which are planned, which can destroy the devotional life. Don't overindulge with senses. Uh, don't overindulge with the food. Then don't have goals which are very difficult to achieve in this world. Like it's good to have four houses in Canada, and the fifth house in Zurich, and the sixth house in India, and the seventh house in Mayapur, eighth house in Vrindavan, and then ninth house elsewhere. Like there are 9 planets in 9 houses, we can also have 9 houses. It's good to have that. But is it practical? Is it practical? How much you have to work for it? So don't have goals which are difficult to attain. Have simple goals and be satisfied with what comes on its own account. It's very important for household life. So that's the next thing, that um, our practice of our occupation, uh, our desires to enjoy, and the facilities we want to accumulate, all this should simply support our practice of pure devotional service. That's how we should plan everything. Everything should support practice of devotional service. That is our goal. Our goal is to go to Vaikuntha. Okay. If we have a very big car, it's not going to take us to Vaikuntha. A car is meant to take us from A to B. Yeah. And it's meant to take us from A to B in a reasonably safe manner. That's what it is. Whether it is big, small, medium, doesn't matter. So we don't have to think, oh, this fellow has so much big car, I should also have so much. Okay, he has big car, I have this car, it's okay, no problem. So what is there with that we should get satisfied. This is one of the biggest challenges in family life. So therefore, husband and wife should sit and plan that what we are satisfied with. And then simply be like that. So the next principle is anyone whose religious work is not meant to elevate him, work is not meant to elevate him to religious life. Anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. This is spoken by Devahuti. She speaks to Kardama. After Kardama and Devahuti go on a celestial honeymoon and come back, and then Kardama is saying, okay, bye, I'm going. Then Devahuti actually realizes that what she has missed in the association with her great husband, and then she speaks this. So this gives a very good principle for us, that what is that? That there are two ways, or there are two perceptions about enjoyment in this material world, in householder life. Generally, people perceive that enjoyment in householder life means to accumulate so many things. But actually, if you carefully try to analyze, the endeavor to accumulate simply causes suffering. What you accumulate, you don't enjoy so much. If you simply uh, analyze peacefully. So, there is another way of enjoying in household life. What is that? To be renounced. Uh, what is the what is the what is the principle of being renounced in household life? Because renounced means people think, oh, you should be sannyasi. You can be renounced in household life also. So how to be renounced in household life? first of all to accept that Radha and Krishna are the master. That is the first thing. That they are the master of the house. I am the servant. The house belongs to them, doesn't belong to us. Like here is a nice example that there's such a big facility is there, but they are ruling. The deities are ruling this facility. So this is a good example that Prabhu and Mataji himself, they are living in a very small place, but they have such a big place. But that place, who is ruling? Radha and Krishna are ruling. So to accept deity as the master, whatever we have, big place, small place, medium place, doesn't matter. Whatever place we have, to accept deity as the master and us as a servant. And train our children to be servants of the deity. Sometimes grihasthas, they think they tell their child, oh, you are the prince of the house. They tell son, or they tell the daughter, oh, you are my princess. No, there's only one prince in the house. Who is that? Krishna. There's only one princess in the house. Who is that? Radharani. Rest of all are servants. If we actually have that mood and make our children proud that, oh, I am proud to be Krishna's servant. I am proud to be Radharani's maid servant. That's where my position is, to be Krishna's servant, to be Radharani's maid servant. This is my position. And ourselves be in that mood. That is that is the mood of renunciation in household life. To become the servant of the deity, not to consider ourselves as the master of the house. Okay, I am the big man, or I am the boss lady, or I am the big man. Not like that, but to become humble, to remind the servant, of Shri Radha and Krishna, to remind the servant of Prabhupada, remind the servant of Hari Guru Vaishnavas, and to actually take pleasure in giving, not in accumulating. So this is the essential, the essence of household life. When a brahmachari, there are different ashrams, like there's brahmachari, there's grihastha, there's vanaprastha, there's sannyasi. According to Shastra, it is explained that how does each of them fall down from their ashram. When a brahmachari thinks about a woman, he falls down from his ashram. When a vanaprastha has sex with his wife, he falls down from his ashram. When a sannyasi gets material desires, he falls down from his ashram. And what about grihastha? When a grihastha does not give charity, he falls down from his ashram. So, the most important function within Krishna consciousness for a grihastha is to actually give charity, because he is the only one who is earning money. The students are not earning money. Of course, here the students earn money. Yeah? This is like a crazy society. It's okay, what to do? The students earn money here, but students are not meant to earn money. They are meant to just focus on studies. Okay, so the students, at least in school and other places, they are not earning money. I don't know if school children also earn money here. They also earn money. After 10th, they are. So it's a money-centered society. So naturally, then these things happen. When a society thinks that the purpose of life is to earn money, when the society understands the purpose of human life is only to earn money, then naturally everything is centered around money, because then the whole thing is just money, money, money. Money is honey. Money, money, money. This is how the whole society thinks. But that's why we defined in the very beginning, the purpose of human life is to be Krishna conscious. The purpose of human life is not to earn money. If money comes, is good. Money is required. It's not that it's not required. But anyway, it will come. Bhagavatam actually gives a very revolutionary principle. It actually changed my whole life. So Bhagavatam says that nobody plans to get misery in their life. Anybody plans to get misery in their life? Do you plan? Do you plan? No. In 10 years, I should get blood pressure. You have a plan like that? श्री श्री गणिताय जी की जय, श्री श्री राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्री श्री राधा ब्रजवत्सल की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय, प्रभात की जय. So anybody plans how to get misery? Somebody has planned at the age of 60 I should get diabetes. This is the aim of my life. I should die of cancer. This is the aim of my life. Nobody plans like that. But do miseries come on their own accord without working for it? So Bhagavatam is asking a question. If material miseries can come on their own accord without working for it, why not material happiness will come on its own accord without working for it? The logical thing, no? The logical thing. But for material happiness to come on its own accord, what you should do? You should do some work. That work you should do for Krishna. When you do work for Krishna, then whatever you need to get, happiness, distress, everything will come on its own accord and go. Because human being is meant for doing some endeavor. So that endeavor should be done to satisfy Guru and Krishna. When you do that endeavor to satisfy Guru and Krishna, then whatever facility you have to get, whatever has to come will come, whatever has to go will go. One need not too much worry about these things. So therefore, human life or householder life is not meant to suffer by accumulation, but it is meant to actually enjoy by renunciation. So that's the next principle. Yeah, please come on, come on. Hare Krishna, welcome. Okay, so we go to the last one. Okay. By performing bhakti yoga or devotional service, a man can be raised to the platform of goodness. If the husband situated in the mode of goodness can control his wife who is in passion and ignorance, the woman is benefited. Forgetting her natural inclination for passion and ignorance, and the woman becomes obedient and faithful to her husband who is situated in mode of goodness. Such a life becomes very welcome. The intelligence of the man and the woman may work very nicely together and they can make progressive march towards spiritual realization. So it's very important for the person who is leading the family to be established in mode of goodness. So when we are established in mode of goodness, then we have a better view of everything. Because passion and ignorance, it actually blinds us. Passion especially, it said that jnana vijnana nashanam. Jnana vijnana nashanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, avritam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena daranena cha, says that he actually compares the lust which comes out of rajoguna or passion. He actually compares it to burning fire. If you try to satisfy the fire by offering ghee into it, is the fire going to put down? No, it's going to burn bigger. So the more you try to satisfy the lust, the more the lust is going to become strong, and it is going to cover the knowledge of the living entity. Avritam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina, the eternal enemy of the living entity. This passion and ignorance is the eternal enemy of the living entity. But in this material world, we are taught to be in passion. Everybody says, "Oh, you should be very passionate." Only by being passionate you can achieve many things. You should be passionate in what you do. You should be passionate in your job. You should be passionate in your life. This whole world is driven by passion, but passion takes us to hell. So that is the very nature of passion. But if you really want to achieve, you have to actually experience happiness and love. So the simple example for that is Prabhupada himself. Prabhupada, he went out at the age of 69 to the West, and then he established one of the most successful organizations, international organizations all over the world, which is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And he simply did that not out of passion, but out of love for his spiritual master. He didn't do that in passion. It was not achieved by passion. It was achieved by love, pure love in mode of goodness. That pure love which is in mode of goodness is much more powerful than passion or ignorance, because that can move the whole world. That's what Prabhupada did. He moved the whole world. He made Krishna consciousness, he made Hare Krishna Mahamantra the household name everywhere in this world. Prithivitache Jata Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachara Bhaibe Moranam. This was told by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody is thinking, what is this, Nobody will do all this to all over the world and all. Just maybe in Bengal. Somebody said, yeah, Bengal plus Orissa, let's include Orissa also. Somebody said, little bit in India. It's okay, let's include little bit of India. Nothing more than that. It's not going to go all over the world. Now we are sitting in Thunder Bay, uh, which is like so far from India. You have to come like 24 hours, 30 hours in flight, and some place where. And then we are talking about Prabhupada, we are talking about Bhagavatam, we are talking about the holy name. This is the power of love. This is what love can do. I have gone to northernmost corner of this world, not the North Pole, but in Siberia, in Russia. Uh, I went to a town called Irkutsk. It's in one corner of Russia, north corner of Russia. And then I went there, and devotees took me, and then I went to the temple there. There's a proper ISKCON temple there. And then in the temple, the main deity is uh, not even Radha and Krishna. The main deity is Gauranga and Nityananda, Gaur Nitai. And those deities, they are not standing, they are dancing. They are dancing Gaur Nitai deities. You see, Gaur Nitai is dancing in Irkutsk, which is some corner of the world. And how it was possible? Simply by love. Prabhupada's love for the holy name, Prabhupada's love for the instruction of his spiritual master, Prabhupada's love for Krishna, made it possible that in this world, in every town and village, the name of Lord Krishna will be sung. So, therefore, we should understand that coming to mode of goodness or living in mode of goodness and trying to experience that transcendental love, that is the motivation, that should be the motivation of family life, not simply becoming a victim of passion and ignorance. So, these are some brief discussions. Of course, this discussion in the seminar takes 2 days. What we have done today in the seminar takes 2 days. So because it's not like a lecture thing. It's like very very interactive. It goes on and on and on. So many discussions and things like that. But try to give a little bit of overview for what we can see. So these are some thoughts. These are some things which you can think about in living your own family life, in living your own Krishna conscious Grihastha life. So just to summarize, so husband and wife are not Maya for each other, but they are actually protection against Maya. So that's why they get married. So the relationship between them is based on reciprocation of love and service in Krishna consciousness. The wife serving the husband is important part of her devotional service. Dharma, Artha, and Kama and Krishna conscious Grihastha Ashram should not contradict the principles of pure devotional service. Krishna conscious Grihastha Ashram is meant for enjoyment through renunciation in Krishna consciousness, not sense gratification through Maya consciousness. Husband should be qualified to act as instructing spiritual master for his wife, then they both can progress in Krishna consciousness. So these are some thoughts. These are some principles which actually are very valuable um, in trying to frame our Grihastha life. Of course, it's a big discussion. So um, you have some questions, comments?
In India,
Yeah.
usually it's seen
Yeah.
that husbands are not Vaishnavas. In fact, the wives are more into devotional service than
Correct.
husbands.
Yeah.
In this situation, what?
No problem. Just live with the husband and then be devotee. In India, I find that there is more tolerance between husband and wife.
It is very difficult. I've seen a lot of cases in India where it's very difficult because the husband doesn't let the wife do what she wants to do because there is dominance over there.
Yeah.
And
See, the point is that I live in India, okay, and I preach in India, okay. And I am also a person who handles Grihastha problems in India. Like this is one of my service. So in general, what we have seen is that even though it is difficult, it's not impossible. In India, there is more resilience between in the husband and wife relationship. Till now, there's more resilience is there. Of course, that resilience is coming down more and more with the new generation. But still, there is good amount of resilience in husband and wife relationship. So, uh, the culture there actually helps us to understand that there could be constraints, but still the relationship has to be maintained. So that actually helps a lot. They fight with each other, they do whatever they want to do, but still the wife gets away with her Krishna consciousness and the husband keeps fighting with her, and then life goes on. Yeah, that's possible in India. I know many cases like that. That is possible in India. There's not, um, at least till now, to a great extent, there is an understanding that the sanctity of marriage should be kept. That's there in India still. That is not like breaking a marriage is not like that simple in India. So therefore, even though there are frictions, still both parties try to somehow or other maintain the relationship. Prabhupada himself says, I mean, there's a whole section about when to break a marriage. It's not that in Vedic system marriage is not is unbreakable bond. It's not like an unbreakable bond. So, if a woman is unchaste, then the man need not live with her, according to Vedic system. Same way, if a man is forcing a woman to break regulative principles, then the woman need not live with him. So, according to Vedic system, both are true. That it's not like that there is a relationship and then you can't break it. There is this. Shastra is very practical. So, Shastra is practical in the sense that it actually gives a natural break for a man and woman. Like, Vanaprastha is meant to be that natural break. That we actually say that a husband and wife, they should enter into Grihastha life just like a thief enters a home. When a thief enters a home, you know what he does first? You know what he does first? He first sees how to escape. Then he sees that where is the money and everything else. Okay. A husband and wife should enter married life like a thief enters a home. Means that they should clearly know that this relationship is going to part at one point of time. And that natural time to part in that relationship is Vanaprastha. So, when like 25 years of Grihastha life is what Shastra recommends, that you have 25 years of Grihastha life. And after 25 years, you had a nice life, you have a very nice husband, you have a very nice wife, you have a nice life, you be happy, and then you take Vanaprastha. Okay. If you don't have a very good husband, if you don't have a very good wife, after 25 years, anyway, that's it, you take Vanaprastha. So, the Vedic system naturally provides for a husband and wife to go to the next step out of their Grihastha life. Okay. And within the Grihastha life also, the Vedic system provides conditions where they can actually separate. So, if we know these things, then we can be more peaceful. If we know these things, then we can be more peaceful.
Prabhuji, is it true that this relationship is for 7 births?
If you want, you can have it for many births. If you don't want, you can go back in one. It's all depends on what you want. Like Krishna says in second chapter Bhagavad Gita, Yaimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitaha vedavadarata partha nanyat asti iti vadinaha. So, there is one portion of Vedas which is actually simply dealing with how to enjoy this world. Okay. That portion of Vedas is not talking about anything about Vaikuntha or going back to Godhead. It's not talking about anything. It's simply concerned with how to enjoy in this world. Okay. In that portion of Vedas, the highest enjoyment you can have in this world is sex life between man and woman. Right? So that portion of Vedas is now focusing on that and then how to make it as pious as possible. So then you are given so much nice enticement saying that you can have the same wife for 7 lifetime, you can have the same husband for 7 lifetime. That's a kind of enticement to remain chaste, to remain, not to go away from the relationship and to actually not to commit any sin. So then that becomes like a impetus to be nice to the husband, to be nice to the wife, etc. So there's a whole section which deals with that. It's possible to have, it's not wrong. I mean, it's not it's not false. It's possible to have 7 lifetimes same husband, same wife. It's possible to have 49 lifetimes same husband, same wife. But it's also possible to go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Yeah. So we are trying to look at the third possibility of trying to go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Yes, Prabhuji.
You said that it's not good to have unachievable goals, but when the gods were praying that Lord Vishnu would come down and send one of his avatars to destroy the world of Kans, they were in the mode of passion. So isn't it possible to have both the mode of passion and love?
It's possible to have mode of passion and love. That's what this world is having, mode of passion and love. But the problem with mode of passion is that it will quickly take you to sinful activity. That's the very nature of mode of passion. And that will take you to suffering. And with mode of passion, love is not sustainable because mode of passion depends on gratification. And the nature of the world is that you cannot continuously get gratification from any relationship. So the passion requires gratification, and you can't continuously get gratification from any relationship. So when you have love which is based on passion, then it's easy to break relationships. That's what is happening in this world. That more and more relationships are becoming fragile. And when relationships become fragile, then that causes a separate amount of stress. So that's why it's not possible. It's not impossible. It's possible, but it causes a lot of misery. The very nature of passion is to cause misery.
But how can you learn without having misery? Like, for example, most of the people in this room, I'm guessing, had to go through a lot of misery to get where they are today, right? So, isn't it that you should expect misery in life to come and then learn from it?
Yeah, but we should also not expect that we should always live in misery, right? We should also have a clear idea that there are two ways of going through misery. Okay, there's burden of the beast and there's burden of love, right? Both are misery. Like an ass is actually taking a huge burden. That's I mean, you're born here, right? You may not know how does the ass take burden, but there's an animal called ass, and in India, the washermen, donkeys, yeah, these washermen, they actually load the back of a donkey with huge burden. If you go to YouTube and search for donkey video, in Pakistan they use a lot of donkeys. Yeah, now even now, it's a big market in Pakistan for donkeys because they are load-bearing people. They are load-bearing animals. Yeah, so it goes to a lot of misery bearing that load. Okay, so you can also go through misery like that, or when uh, a, a woman or when a mother she's carrying her baby, it's a load, right? That's also a load, but that's actually called bundle of joy. So how you go through misery is also a choice which you need to make. So when you actually go through misery in love, then that kind of misery will actually teach you to go to a life where there is no more misery. Sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. This is what Bhagavatam starts with. It says that there is a world which is full of misery. Tejo varimrutam yata vinimayo yatra tisharko amrisha. There's a world which is full of misery. But you can actually go through that misery of that world based on love which you develop for Krishna or develop for the Acharya. And then that experience of misery actually takes you to a place where there is no misery. So, logically, if there is a place full of misery, there should be a place without misery also. Logically, if there is a place where everything is temporary, there should be a place where everything is permanent, right? It should be a logical possibility. So, that possibility is what the Vedic system is asking you to focus on. So we should be practical to accept that this life is full of misery, but we should not foolish to think that this is what is life. Does it make sense? So that's what Krishna consciousness is all about. Yes.
I have a question about what does Shastra has to say about people who are lazy?
Uh, People who are lazy, laziness is actually, I'm just giving a straightforward answer, okay? So laziness is actually a symptom of mode of ignorance. So activity which is spodiac and which is uneven is actually a symptom of passion. Laziness, getting attracted to intoxication, too much of sleep, and suffering which comes due to that. This is all product of mode of ignorance. Actually, if you read Bhagavad Gita is very scientifically describing these modes in a very nice way in more or less every aspect of human life, starting from faith to determination, to austerity, to speech, to food, to habits, in every activity of human life, how the three modes are acting and what are the symptoms of those three modes is very elaborately explained in Bhagavad Gita, from starting from 14th chapter up to 18th chapter. So when you read that, then you get a full idea of how is life in mode of goodness, how is life in mode of passion, and how is life in mode of ignorance. And what is the respective result of these three lives. Everything is explained very nicely. So you can just, if you don't have Bhagavad Gita, there's a book outside. You can pick it up, you can read. If you have, just read it. Yeah. Then it gives you a clear scientific understanding of the modes. It's like very systematically explained. It's not like some jumbled explanation. Very systematically explained. So when you read that, then you are very clear that this is what you are looking at when you're talking about mode of goodness, you're talking about mode of passion, you're talking about mode of ignorance. Okay, either question, comment. Yes.
So we all are here to achieve Krishna consciousness, but you said that to achieve that consciousness, we should have a spiritual master. But most of the time, that spiritual master is a human, and we all know that to be a human is to err. That is, that human being is an idol of mistakes. So how can we have faith in him that whatever he says, all the things are correct? So
So,
that
yeah.
is the main doubt that arises in
Okay,
some
good. It's a nice
members.
doubt. It's a very good doubt. It's a nice question. So, what is the difference between an ordinary person and a spiritual master? The difference between the ordinary person and spiritual master is that the spiritual master follows everything according to three principles, which is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Okay, he follows his own spiritual master. He follows the instructions of the previous acharyas, and then he follows Shastra. So any spiritual master should go through these three tests: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So Shastra comes from Krishna. Okay. He said in Bhagavatam, Veda pranihito dharmo, hi adharmasya viparyeha, Vedo Narayana Sakshat Swayambhur iti Shushruma. Uh, Means that what is explained, what is allowed in Vedas is dharma, what is not allowed in Vedas is adharma. Vedas are coming from Narayana and they are self manifest. They are not written by any human being who is subject to four defects. Any human being is subject to four defects. Okay. So that's why it is said to err is human, because human being is subject to four defects. So then the Shastra comes, which is comes from a source which is God. God is free from four defects. So Shastra is coming from him. So Shastra is also free from four defects. Then the acharyas who are instructed by God Himself, they are free from four defects because they are simply following that instruction. When a guru comes in that line and when he strictly follows that, then naturally he is free from four defects.
And if we want to get initiated by the spiritual masters, then we also can make some mistake that we can realize that that spiritual guru is like we say Mayavad. So that spiritual guru belongs to Mayavad.
You are making a statement or you are asking a question?
Yeah, I'm asking a question. So how can we avoid that mistake?
Okay. So you just see whether what the spiritual master says. See, the Vedic system goes as per Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha is relationship, Abhidaya is process, and Prayojana is the result. So whenever you want to accept someone as your spiritual master, then you have to ask him these three questions: that what do you present as Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana? Okay. So, if the spiritual master accepts that Krishna is God, we are all servants of Krishna, then his prayojana is correct because that's what the Shastra is saying. Yeah. If the spiritual master is saying that you are Krishna, I am Krishna, everybody is Krishna, then there is something wrong. Yeah. We are godly, but we are not God. Right? There's a difference being godly and being God. We have the qualities of God, but we are not God because we all belong to the same platform, spiritual platform. So, therefore, the very explanation of the relationship between the God and the Jiva, we can very easily identify whether the spiritual master is bona fide or not. If the spiritual master claims himself to be God, uh, then that spiritual master is not, that is the person who is Mayavad. That's a person who is actually doesn't understand what exactly Shastra is saying. So he is not worth following. But when a spiritual master comes in a proper parampara, there are four paramparas. Like there's a parampara which is started by Brahma, there's a parampara which is started by Lakshmi, there's a parampara which is started by the four Kumaras, and there's a parampara which is started by Lord Shiva. So, any spiritual master who comes in these four different paramparas, they all accept Krishna as supreme. So, when a spiritual master comes in these paramparas, then he is worth accepting.
So you are implying that we should ask these three questions that
I'm not implying, I'm directly saying it. I'm not implying, I'm directly saying that this is what you should ask a spiritual master. So, when you go to a spiritual master, you are simply going to inquire. That is the reason you are going to spiritual master. Tad vijnanartam sagurum eva bhikachet samitpani shrotyam brahmanishtam. So this is what Shastra says. The very purpose of going to spiritual master is to make an inquiry. But what kind of inquiry we should make? Not that how can I get a permanent visa citizenship in Canada, or not that how can I make millions of dollars. You don't ask this kind of questions to a spiritual master. You go and ask spiritual master that who is God, what is my identity, what is my relationship with God, how can I re-establish my relationship with God, and what can I get out of it. This is Sambandha Abhidaya and Prayojana. But then the general etiquette to ask that question to the spiritual master is to ask it in a submissive manner. Because when we go and challenge the spiritual master, then we cannot learn from him. When you go and approach him in a submissive manner, then we can learn from him. Any learning needs a submissive attitude. That's why even if you go to college, if you go to school, they have some rules and you're meant to follow the rules. Then you can learn. So submission is a basic requirement for learning. Okay? We'll stop here. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna,
Thank you so
Krishna
much.
Krishna, Hare
So
Hare,
we'll do the Aarti
Hare
ceremony
Ram, Hare
now.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
We stay away for the Aarti and Prashadam. After the Aarti, we have dinner Prashadam. And Prabhuji is traveling all the way from Mayapur. They are establishing a 100-bed charitable hospital. And Prabhuji, you want to say something while I'm setting up for the Aarti?
Yes, okay, I'll speak a little
I'll
bit.
do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
So, Mayapur is the international headquarters of ISKCON. So, it's a small village where